Hey pups, RP here. If you read the title and saw the joke at the beginning of the video, I want to welcome you all to work-related horror stories! Yay! Now, my first job was a dishwasher position at a now closed-down restaurant, and the few horror stories I have are the following. Once I tried to carry a whole case of dishes, because that's what everyone does when they work as a dishwasher in a restaurant, and all the dishes had to be cleaned no matter what. But when I tried to carry one of the cases, it was kind of heavy, and some of the dishes ended up crashing onto the ground, and yes, they did break. Thankfully, no one was mad at me, so thank goodness for that miracle. Another one was when a wasp was in the kitchen near my station. It was just walking in one of the headlamps. When I noticed it, I was terrified. Now, I'm not allergic to bees, but wasps, hornets, other bees that sting out of meanness and spite scare the crap out of me. So I did the only thing I could do to save everyone. I took the risk, managed to get past it, informed the manager, and the bee was shooed away. And thankfully, I saved the life of one of my coworkers that day. Unfortunately, after working at the restaurant for a month, I was laid off due to expenses, and we all know the end of that story. The restaurant closed down afterwards, and then I had to look for another job. A month later, I became a member of a deli in a grocery store. Maybe by the time this video is complete, I'll probably have quit and gotten a new job. Save the new job horror stories for part 2 in the future. Maybe. We shall see. Regardless, working in the deli was an experience to say the least. I knew I had some experience with culinary work involving baking and cooking, but one of the best things was making things in the production department. It was by far one of my favorite things to do there. Unfortunately, I had to say bye-bye to that and move on to the hot bar for a while. And for anyone who has no idea what a hot bar is, let me explain this to you. A hot bar is basically a bar case filled with food like mac and cheese, fried chicken, mashed potatoes, and various other food items. Now, just so I won't get sued by this company I used to work for, we'll give them a fake name, and that fake name is Food World. Food World happened to be a very popular grocery store in my town, especially after adding a Starbucks to it near the end of 2019. One of our busiest days out of all of them was Thanksgiving and Christmas Eve. Thanksgiving was definitely busier than Christmas Eve. And let me just say, never work at a grocery store on Thanksgiving Day. Ever. If you can help it. It was like a zombie apocalypse with the turkeys, stuffing, dressing, and sweet potatoes. And mad people. But that's another story. I kind of want to get this story out of the way, and a majority of it was just me being zoned out due to stress, overworked, and little work staff. It was also one of those days where I had to call out due to my aunt being sick. Thankfully, one of my coworkers picked me up to take me to work. And thank goodness for that small miracle. So, it was either the last few customers of the day, and I was already overwhelmed enough as it was. We were short-staffed that day. Either the employees called in because of sickness, or something else, didn't show up or call at all, or had the day off, and who was the only girl at that hot bar? Me. Things were slow in the morning, thank goodness, and it was one of those days where I just want to get it all done and over with, and if anyone got more than 3 orders, I'd probably scream internally. Well, Last of the Few was one of them. An old man wanted 3 orders, and I was the only girl who couldn't do 1,000 things at once. And then all of a sudden he says, "Why are you rolling your eyes at me?" Now, I was a little confused. I was just about to get one of the to-go plates or something. I zoned out everything in that moment. And I'm trying to find the words for it, and he keeps telling me to forget the orders, and I tell him it's no problem while attempting to explain the current situation at hand about what's going on. And I wasn't even sure if I could ask for help because of how busy we are. Our Chinese bar was busy, our sushi bar was busy, our pizza bar was busy. The other departments in the deli were equally as busy as every other department, and he does the stereotypical thing nearly every customer does in those moments. "Where's the manager? I will speak to them!" And in that moment, I was all, "Welp, I'm fired and dead. I leave everything in my will and testament to my Lucario plushie, including the last bit of Frozen 2 mint snowflake chocolate ice cream in the freezer." Thankfully, my department managers understood. And there was an eyewitness from what my coworker told me. Apparently, the woman said I wasn't doing anything wrong to him, and when I told, or at least tried to explain to him, it was crazy and overwhelming about how short-staffed we are, and how I need a little bit of help, but can't get it due to how busy we are that day. He was just being an ass for the sake of being an ass from the look of the situation. And I was just all like, oh. So apparently, I was dealing with one of those r/entitled title people who just decided to be a butthole for no reason, other than seeing me being overwhelmed. His words exactly were, "But it's a job, it happens," or something like that. Now, he may not have understood how stressful it is to work in the food business, especially on its busiest days, but it was just one of those bad days, bad customers moments for me. But that guy was nothing compared to a previous man a few days or weeks prior to that event. It was one of those slow, busy days, and I was working at the hot bar again, and the dude was on his phone half of the time, and I asked him if he wanted cornbread or a roll, and he's like, "I want 2 orders of chicken Alfredo, mac and cheese, and corn," or something like that. I don't remember. And I kept asking him, because it's part of my job, to ask if someone wants bread and or a drink with their food. And he's like, "Let me repeat myself." And this kept going on and 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 on. I'm getting more and more frustrated, so I'm like, I really want to deck this motherfucking jackass in the face. But by the end of it, I'm like, okay, girl. You're in a bad mood, but things are gonna get better today. Be the bigger woman for this. So yeah. I hope I never see that douche again. But at least I handled it as well as I could. Because the last 2 things I need are to lose my job and getting in a fist fight and going to jail for it. Oh, but those 2 stories are just the very tip of the iceberg. This one happened sometime around Christmas, when they had me working full-time from 10 in the morning to 6 in the evening. Not sure why, but I can guess it was probably because of the holidays. Everyone requests vacations and holidays off. So here's exactly what happened from what I remember. These 2 women who I'm gonna call Miss Good Lady and Stash Lady, because this woman had the most visible mustache I'd ever seen on anyone, man or woman. And I was getting Miss Good Lady's order, and Stash Lady comes up, and while I was getting the order for a bucket of chicken, Miss Good Lady says something about Stash Lady either moving her cart or trying not to run over her kid or something in a most likely polite manner. But Stash Lady, she didn't like that. So Stash Lady says, "You need to stop acting like a condescending bitch." And she was probably about to fight Miss Good Lady and her poor daughter. And she says, "Please don't touch me," or "Do not come near me." And I'm just standing there like, oh, okay, what do I do? Just focus on getting Nice Lady's order and hope and pray the Stash Lady leaves. I don't know what Stash Lady's problem was, but she was acting like a real cunt. And in my mind, I was like, okay, this gets into a fight, or if she even dares to hurt the little girl, I'm gonna break it up, save the child, and ask her to leave. And as I was getting the order complete, Stash Lady was gone, and thank Arceus for that. I'm not one to judge a book by its cover, but Stash Lady was ugly inside and out. Like the old saying goes, if you're ugly inside, then you're ugly on the outside. I mean, I thought this kind of crap happens at Walmart. Apparently not. Walmart creatures are everywhere nowadays. And now, every time Stash Lady enters a store, I'm like, go away, Stash Lady. You scare me and make me uncomfortable in the way you talk to mothers and their children. And I didn't want to be rude to Stash Lady, but it'd be obvious that she'd be rude to me or any of the other employees back if she were rude to Miss Good Lady and her little girl. And the kid looked like she was maybe 3 to maybe, I want to say 6 years old, somewhere around that age range. I was mostly scared for that child. That poor child. To end this video off, since I didn't complete the script, I will share my story about the Karens. I have had multiple Karen experiences during my time working at Food World. There was one lady whom I couldn't understand her, or I wanted to make sure I was getting her order right, and she was ordering chicken breasts or something else, and I asked her if she wanted anything else, and I couldn't hear her, and I said, again, anything else you need? She's like, no, I'm not deaf, I can hear you. I said, I know, ma'am, I'm just double checking. You're double checking to see if I'm deaf? I said, no, ma'am, I'm just double checking to see if you needed anything else. And after getting her order ready, I say, here you go, ma'am, you have a good day. She said, I'm not deaf! And I'm like, lady, I never said you were deaf. You just assumed that. Jesus fucking Christ. This last Karen I will tell you guys about was what I call the hot bar regulars. You know, the customers who come to the hot bar regularly when they enter a grocery store for around lunchtime or something like that. There was one time I was getting this dude's order, and I kept asking him if he needed anything else, and he was ignoring me. And I'm just like, dude, I'm right here asking you a question. It is important that I get your order right. The next time they came in, they said, I want somebody else. I'm just like, pardon? Because I couldn't hear it because everything was loud. He's like, I want somebody else because I don't want to deal with your ass. It's like, dude, fucking chill. Then every time they came back, they said, I need somebody else. I'm just like, dude, what is up with you, man? And one of my coworkers said, next time they come back, you tell them, ain't nobody else gonna help you. I'm the only one here. What can I do for you? But being the people pleaser that I am, I didn't fucking do that. I despise dealing with Karens, and now I know how everyone else in the world feels. I already hated Karens so long ago before getting an actual job, but now I hate them even more. And yeah, I am never working at a hot bar ever again. Anyway, that's all the time I have for this little horror story of workplace horror stories, I guess. Again, I did not finish the script, so... Anyway, if you guys want to see more videos like this, be sure to let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one, pups. Cue the outro, RP is out, peace.